And I'm back.
All right. Sorry about that. This is part two
Part
of flipping
two.
the script. Yeah, part two of this episode because we cut off.
Hey,
But
that's good. You know what? Maybe somebody only has 36 minutes to listen to the first one.
and
And
that
this gives
works.
them a
That
chance to
works.
start off on the second one. So, welcome
That
back.
works.
We're
Yeah, welcome
still
back.
here. We're still chatting.
Short intermission.
Yeah.
Okay. So real quick, while it's still fresh, I was talking about the smoking, and I just want to let everyone know if you're smoking or not smoking, honestly, or you're drinking or not drinking or whatever. Just the most important thing and the advice I will give you to anybody is to just set your intention, okay, and
Because
follow your instinct.
no
Follow
substance takes you away from who you are.
right, and it's
That's the
not going to
lie that we've
stop
been
you.
told, is
Well,
that you can't be everything that you are because
mhm,
you're a piece of crap because you're doing this or you're doing that, and
a
that's
lot of
coming from
you.
outside programming. That's not the truth
Yeah.
of who we are. We are who we are regardless of what we put in ourselves, because everything outside of us comes from us anyway. We hold the power. We
Yeah.
just have to learn how to change it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the 100% on that, we're the powerful one, you know, and setting intent, that was it, that was the thing, though, setting intention. Because I could sit here and smoke a whole bag and just be like, duh, or I could set intention like I'm setting this intention to open my mind to my guides or to connect to my guides more or to connect to my inner guidance or my whoever. It depends on whatever you want. Like my personal intention for smoking is to heal my body, and so because my intention is to heal my body with marijuana, what do you think is happening?
Yeah. Well, we have a whole what is it, homocannabinoid system in our bodies that
Do it. Yes, we do.
that
We
is
do.
basically saying that our body works with cannabis to heal
It
itself. So that
Yeah,
we have a uh,
cannabinoid system. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if the exact terminology. It's something we have a system that
Something like
basically
that.
works and interacts with cannabis. And
Yeah.
I myself have never been a smoker of marijuana. It's never resonated with me, but I enjoy CBD. It helps with my depression. It helps with my anxiety. I've just recently tried Delta 8 in a very low quantity, and it helps with the anxiety too and sleeping, because
Awesome.
I've put so many chemicals in my body over the years that my sleep patterns are not normal. That, I don't have an easy time going to bed.
Yeah.
And so cannabis definitely helps me to calm down, quiet my mind, and stop overthinking and stop with the anxiety. And so it definitely helps. I just have to find, I've just had to find a different way of taking it in, because smoking just doesn't, it's never felt right for me.
Yeah, and I understand, like, and it's not for everybody, but now that it's evolved from even
Mhm.
when I first started, now there's different strains that are for different purposes, and um, like sativa is more like a daytime. It's not so, um, what am I trying to say? Uh,
Like the guy at
you're
my
not,
shop says that indica is like in the couch, in the
yeah,
couch.
yeah.
Like,
That's for nighttime, and like you really, and it does have a tendency to speed your heartbeat, so you do get a faster heartbeat and stuff. So you have to listen to your body, but it's not meant to be smoked all day. Like people smoke blunts. Like I've been smoking since 2012. I can hold a job down perfectly. It's not affecting me. I haven't ripped anybody off. I haven't stolen anybody to get a bag, and so you have to look at the facts. Like the facts are, I am a beautiful person. It hasn't affected me personally. Um, you know, uh, but it has given me the ability to sit still and be calm, and meditate, because I also have ADHD, and I am on the autism spectrum. Um, and so it does give me the ability to do certain things but it's really just my intention. It really just depends on your intention.
yeah. Well, and I know personally from my own experience that dealing with other substances, and I'm not going to name names, but I've used those, being in awareness, and changed the intention of them, saying, I'm using this
Oh,
to do
yeah.
shadow work. I'm
Yeah.
using this to go
Auto.
deeper in and to facing things that, that I need to face, that I need to bring up. And so actually using things that I know are not good for me, um, but changing the intention behind them, but in a very, very limited way and a very short period of time,
Oh,
to
yeah.
face those shadows and bring those shadows up, and then to not go back there again.
Yeah, and that's
I've
what
had to do that.
ayahuasca is for. So, and what was it? San Pedro and things like that, like microdosing, and but
Oh
I
yeah.
mean,
I
yeah,
mean,
and that
I'm big into,
psilocybin and stuff.
yeah, I can't
I
say the
said it
word
right.
psilocybin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever you.
I'm all for microdosing and small amounts,
Oh yeah, peyote
because
and all that.
that opens your mind. I mean, the first time that I did paper or mushrooms,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, it's opening, everything opening, eye
Yeah,
opening, and the world just gets bigger, and you realize that we're not these small little things. We are humongous. I
yeah,
mean, our energy, the world, everything is so much bigger than our small little eyes can see.
yeah,
And so, not that it's legal or a regular thing that I'm, willing to do. I can't live there, like we
yeah.
can't live in
No, no, of
5D.
course not.
But
It's
the
a it's
experiences that I've had have been very spiritual and very
it's like a step
eye-opening.
for you, or a
Mhm.
helping hand. It's like guidance in.
Well, it opened me up to my
Mhm.
artwork. I mean, really,
Yeah,
when I started doing my spiritual artwork, it was, I was in Panama City, and it was papers the first time, and it was like, oh my gosh, I was
yeah.
listening to Paul White Gold Eagle on my iPod, walking down the
Oh,
beach at 5 in the morning, and
that's
do it. I set up my
beautiful.
crystals on the beach, and this random guy came up, and we had this conversation. I healed him on the beach. He started crying. I mean, it was so magical. And then he left, and and he got me in contact with his prayer line, and they still call me. They
That's
wanted me to
awesome.
work for them, for like to heal people. And I'm like,
That's
that's
awesome.
not my path. I don't work with religions, but
Yeah.
they still want me to.
You
And I'm
can
like,
still
wow.
send people to me though, but
Yeah,
it's
send
like,
people to me, but we're not
yeah,
going in that direction.
yeah, exactly. Like for myself, and this is the God's honest truth. Like when I was a teenager, and I was a freshman in high school, I was in ninth grade, and that's when I really started like I started waking up, and then the first thing I ever tried was LSD. Honestly, it was the very first thing I ever tried, and so I got a square, and it was only $5, and I barely had any hallucinate. There wasn't really a lot of
Mhm.
visuals. It was mostly
Yeah, that was the same for me. It was just a feeling.
all microdosing, and so
Yeah.
I've only ever experienced microdosing. I've
Yeah, I only
never,
had half of
yeah.
a paper, half of a square, or whatever you call it. I don't know all the terminology. It's the only time I've
I don't
ever
know
done
what I don't either.
LSD.
I don't either. Me
My
either.
friend was saying it was Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. So the whole night it was all about John Lennon.
That one was, I remember it was a rose. It was a rose and it had thorns. It was a rose on a stem with thorns, and it was
I think
red. That's what I
mine was a
remember.
little Mario mushroom.
That's awesome. And the time after that I took it, it was Beavis and Butthead acid, and we were laughing the whole time. It was so fun. Oh my God, I remember just having the giggles. And it was so awesome because I think if I remember correctly, the first time I did it, it opened my third eye, and that one was my solar plexus, because I remember just having that feeling in my solar plexus, like giggles, and you just get the giggles, like you're just laughing. And it was such an awesome feeling.
Yeah.
I just
It
remember,
it really
yeah,
was for me too.
yeah,
I remember it. It was just
beautiful.
this good feeling of,
Mhm,
this is how we're supposed to feel. This is what we're supposed to
mhm.
be doing. And
Yes,
then
exactly.
the next time that I did shrooms, I was actually talking to all of the people on the Patreon on for Paul White Gold Eagle. So all of my
Awesome.
friends, they were like guiding me through my experience. I'm like,
That's
and they kept asking me,
amazing.
how are you feeling right now? What's going on? I said, this is how we're meant to feel. This is how we are meant to feel. All of this
It's true.
outside
Always
crap that's
happy.
been
Yeah,
going on, and
yep,
this is all drawing us out of who we're supposed to be. and
Yeah.
what we're supposed to be
The hippies
experiencing.
had it. Like, if you could just remember the hippie movement. So that was a social experiment. And the next social experiment after the hippie movement was crack and meth. So we basically went from a beautiful, happy experience to a fucked up one
Yeah.
to the next
Drawing
generation.
us out of everything, heroin, and
And
just
with their,
basically going into a hole, and
yeah,
and living in this tiny little hole. We
how
went
do you
from mind
feel?
opening to
Mhm.
everything closing. To, I mean, I think about
Well,
meth, and I think about those kind of drugs, those really hard
mhm.
drugs, and they're all about mind closing. It's all about putting you in a little box and keeping you in this little box. So we went from this big expansion of our minds and our hearts and our bodies to closing us into little
Focusing
boxes.
on just where to get the next high, basically, and
Yes.
shortening our
It,
attention span.
yeah, it's like everything changed and
And it
we
was
were
so
tricked
addictive.
into the opposite. And that's pretty much how everything works, is it opens up with the truth, and then then somebody else, the controllers, get a hold of it, and they change it, they flip it backwards, and then they put us where they want us to be. And that's kind of, you have to see that, now, and we have to take control back and say, you know what, I'm not going in that box. I'm going to stick with the things that are mind opening, the things that are heart opening, the things that are expanding and showing me who I truly am, not the things that are putting me into a little tiny compartment where I can be categorized and kept and monitored, you
Let's
know
take these people, and but we were already predisposed due to, because they know how MK Ultra works. So we were already traumatized at a period of time when we were triggered. So yeah, and how we won't go into that this time either, but
yeah. I
so we
know the
get triggered
MK
by
Ultra
MK
stuff.
Ultra
Oh my
programming.
gosh. I think about the MK Ultra, and my grandfather actually, I believe, is one of the subjects of that
Well, we
actual
all are now
experimenting.
at this point.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, one of the original ones back when it
Yeah,
started.
when they first
Because,
started.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I see the evidence of it. He was in the armed services, and I mean, where they did all this
Mhm.
experimentation on these
Yeah, and
people,
that's the
and then
saddest
they
part
went
is they do
crazy.
it on the people that are willing to lay their lives down for this country. And that is the most despicable thing, I think,
Well,
in the
then
entire
I think
world.
it goes down in the bloodline. Like, they do it
Oh,
to
it
these
is.
people, and then it changes their DNA, and then it changes
They have
their.
looking glass. I mean, they can
Mhm.
see who we are. Like they like, and not, but we can too, because we can tap into our higher self, which is also our future self. And so we also have that ability. So don't think we don't. We're not disempowered.
Yeah.
However, in our predisposed condition, because we're always programmed and told what to do, um,
Yes.
and most of them listen, but
Mhm.
yeah, so we can't think for ourselves, but they
Well,
don't
no,
want us to
and
find out.
the one person that does think for, themselves, everybody else
They
around them
murder.
is telling them, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. So, it's like, when I do
And
think
so
for
they
myself,
they eventually
eh,
just shut up and not say
yeah.
anything.
Yeah, and that's the conditioning, is everybody's been conditioned. So when that one person speaks up and opens their eyes, they're trying to convince everybody else. That's the way I was when I first woke up anyway. Is
Mhm.
I was checking in with everybody around me, saying, is this real? Is this real? Is this real? And
Yeah,
everybody around me is going, "No, you're nuts. You've lost your mind." And I'm going,
yeah.
now that I look back on it, why was I checking with any of those
Why
people?
would
Those
you
people
check
are
with those
wide, they're fully
people?
asleep. Why
Fucking
would I
no.
ask any?
Yeah, like I'm literally sending shit to my mother-in-law. Like they're not my fucking friend.
No, my
Uh,
mom,
they're
my
not my
sisters,
friends.
they don't have any idea how any of this works. They'll never, probably in this lifetime,
They
have a
don't care.
concept. Their eyes are not opening,
They're not
and
worried. Like I don't
no,
know, maybe. But I have sent stuff to them, and but I got the clue. I got the clue. I don't
yeah,
send anything to anybody. I let people come to me, and that's how I help
yeah.
people. I
Well,
figured
and
it
that's
out.
that's
But
honestly
still,
the best thing that I could find was no answers, because it forced
that
me
was hard
to
though.
find people with answers, that are
Mhm.
similar to mine, and to reach out to people that are more like-minded, like you and I, who
Mhm.
we can understand each other. We can have a conversation and go, yeah, I've gone through the same thing, or or
Yeah.
something similar, or I completely understand what you're talking about, as
Yeah.
opposed to everybody that's like, no, you're a fucking nut job. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. And it's like,
So
yeah, well, maybe I am, but in a way we are, because we don't want to be in our mind. We are out of our mind, and that's the
I would
most
much
important part.
rather be nuts and happy than
Mhm.
living in the program and living in the matrix and living
Yeah,
completely conditioned and
literally,
completely
dude.
following orders and
The
and
people around
numb to the
me,
world.
the people around me in my immediate life, the people that matter to me are telling me to just go down and get regular job and forcing jobs down my throat, and I'm just not getting hired. I'm not
Yeah.
getting hired.
And that's not the way that
I
we're meant to be.
applied, I apply, but I'm not meant to be in the slave system anymore. And
No.
I know that a lot of people might not understand what that is yet. And
And
I know
I'm the
that
same thing. I'm going
Aaron
through the
Apke
same
goes
thing.
into that too. If you want to look into that, Aaron Apke, there's some other videos out there about the slave system, and I would look on Rumble and BitChute. I probably wouldn't even look on YouTube, but Aaron Apke on YouTube is really good. But um, as far as talking about the slave system and how to exit that part, because I have nothing. I don't even know that part yet.
Yeah, I
I am
have
barely.
no role in the slave system either. I have no role
Yeah,
working towards that. Like my
yeah.
husband, he's like, "Oh, I'll get you a job here at my work," and I'm like, "No,
That's what he
I'm
said.
not
Oh my
meant.
God, you're fucking.
I'm not meant to
Shut
do that."
up.
Yeah,
Oh my
I'm like, I
God.
am not meant to do that.
Shut
I'm
up.
not meant to it. I'm meant
He
to be
just
here
said the
with my
same
daughter.
thing to me. He
No
said the
way.
same. I fucking am shitting me, girl. He just said the same fucking thing to me.
Oh
I
my
swear to
god.
God. He said, well, you could work where I work. You could get a job as a receptionist or maybe do sales.
Yeah,
I was like,
no,
you
you're not
mother.
meant to
Oh,
do that. You're
that's not
not.
it. I know it's not. It makes me feel ugly inside. If I like, I
We're
can't
not meant to be
describe it.
bound to this system. I mean, literally, because
What?
I've worked at my
I
husband's
just want
work
to
before.
cry.
I've worked there
I'm so
before, and
sad.
it puts me in a box, and I have to work on a schedule. I'm not
I
meant
don't
to be
want that.
bound.
I want to
I'm
be
not meant to
free
be
to get my
bound.
kids. If my kid's sick, I want to be home with my kid. If
Yes.
they're going to be off for 2 weeks, what am I supposed to do? Go stick
That
them
was
in a
my
fucking
point.
daycare?
That was my point. If my child is off for the summer, what am I going to do? Work so that she can go to daycare all
What am
summer? So
I?
my
Yeah,
paycheck
I
completely
won't
goes to
have the day.
daycare.
And you're in Atlanta. I don't know how it is there, but just for my two kids, for an 8 hour day, it's $200 a day.
Oh my
in
God.
it's $200 a day here. Okay, so we're talking 5 days a week. That's $1,000. That's more than I fucking make in a week. And this is why I was like trying to
Wow.
babysit and stuff too, because I can't
Hmm.
see charging people that. That's fucking ridiculous. Why are people charging that much? Like
Because they can.
I
Because they can.
when I was babysitting, I babysat a little girl, and I just loved her. And I asked her for $50, and because it was overnight, so it was basically $50 a day to watch her, and make sure her daughter slept safe and sound in my house overnight. You know, $50 a day. You
Hmm.
know, and that was good. Like she was like, heck yeah, like that helped her out. That
Yeah.
helped her out. That helped me out too. So I feel like there's just things that we can do um um to make a difference, which I guess moves on to a different point altogether, which is, being of service and trying to help people out.
Yeah.
But that's something that we can all do. Even taking a meal, like I've been taking a meal over to my neighbor, Glenna. She's an elderly lady, and even though I feel like I don't know, she has family and stuff, and I know that I have been rude to her in the past because I haven't been the nicest person. I know that already. Like I have to accept that about myself. But anyway, so I take her meals and candy and stuff like that too. That's just something that we can do to help out.
Hmm.
giving kids ride home, or I don't know, picking them up after school if they
As
need
long as,
something.
well, I
Just
drive a white van, so I don't know if I could pick up kids and just drive them home. No, I'm just joking.
no, but really though, but honestly, but you put yourself out there in like a
Yeah.
group or something, and you just offer, and it's like,
Yeah. Well,
um
that's what when when I first started waking up, that's what I started doing, was finding groups on Facebook for people that need help with certain things, or people that were asking for help, because
yeah,
trying to help people around me in my physical world who weren't asking for help was draining. So
it's
I
very
had to find
draining. They
people
don't
on the
care.
internet, on Facebook groups, who were
Yep,
asking for help, who were saying,
yep,
"Hey, can you give me a reading? Hey, can you, I'm going through
yep,
this. Can you tell me what to do?"
yeah,
Or whatever, something I have
yep,
experience with, something that I can
yep.
help somebody with. And so I've learned to only help the people who are asking for that help, instead of trying to help my husband who doesn't want help and is very resentful at somebody trying to help him when he feels he doesn't need it.
Yeah, I know. And the other thing with that, like, that's my biggest struggle. Like, and I think that a lot of people are going through that right now. We should probably just talk about it because I we get this twin flame fucking bullshit programming in our heads, and we're like, oh God, we're meant to be together, and yes, we do have a very strong connection. And I'm not going to say that we don't, because we do. We were together at 15.
Yeah.
He was my boyfriend. He came to the hospital when I was pregnant at 15, even though he wasn't the father of that child. And like, he was there, and then we broke up. We were broke up for 20 years and then got back together. So I mean, yeah, it was totally meant to be. Like, we were totally meant to get back together. Stay together, I don't know.
Well, and
That's
I
not a
have past life memories with my husband. I mean, I
yep.
remember us, and I've had a starseed reading as well, showing
Hmm.
that we've originated. What we've actually decided and agreed upon is that every
You can go
incarnation
outside.
we go separate, and then we come back together, separate, come back together. So I have
Yeah,
memories of us
yeah,
being together, and in this
yep,
incarnation we're together, but he has no memory, and
yeah.
it's like torture.
Yeah, well, he in mine, I don't know, because mine was talking about his dreams. And I know that during the ascension process, because all our DNA is getting activated, regardless of whether you're conscious or not, you are going to have memories pop up. You are going to have crazy dreams. You're going to have past life memories. And most people don't know they're just crazy dreams. They're
Mhm.
just crazy dreams. They're not memories to them.
Yeah.
But I know that mine's having those dreams too. And so
Well, mine's talked to me. There's been moments where he's been awake and he's like, "I remember everything." And then he tells me everything and then he forgets. And then I'm like, "Don't you remember? We were just talking about this." He's like, "No. What are you talking about? You were talking about that. I wasn't talking about that." I'm like, "No.
yeah,
Are you?"
it's almost like one
It's so
time
insane.
one time Joel was like talking to me, and he's like, I've been telling you for 100 years. And I'm like, what? He straight fucking said that to my face. And the thing is, I had just heard, or I had just learned about this concept of going into meditation and talking to his higher self. So
Hmm.
I went into meditation and I talked to his higher self, and I had a full on conversation with his higher self, like it was one on one, and it was so real to me. I thought it was real, so I almost misspoke and talked about it out loud. And then a little bit later, he's like, I've been telling you for 100 years, and basically was confirmation for
Uh,
me that that was real. So I was like, well, fucking A, dude, I'm not imagining things.
yeah.
That's real.
I
That's
know. Well,
real.
and those are the things that keep me hooked, that keep me from leaving and keep me
That is
from.
the same here. If I was in any other type of relationship, I would have been gone already. My
Yes.
ex, I left my ex for less. I'm gonna be
I
honest, and
know.
I was with him for 10 years too.
Well, and everybody around me is like, "What the
You
hell are
know?
you doing?" They're
Why
like,
are you still there? Yeah.
yeah. And
But
because you don't understand, you don't know, you're not
it's
here, you're not in
hard.
it, and you can't see it from the outside. From the outside, there's no view of it. You don't know the connection that we have, and it goes deeper than just a physical,
It
you
is.
know.
Even if he
being-
doesn't consciously know it or talk about it or say anything about it, I know that it's real.
Mhm.
I know that he knows it's real, because he would have been gone already too. See, it
Yeah,
goes both fucking ways.
yeah,
He has just as much ability to leave as I do. I have never put chains and ball and chain on him. I have never made him feel that he was never able to leave. You know, I've always made it,
Oh no,
especially.
I've told him to leave. He
Uh-huh.
won't.
Yeah, yeah. I've told, well, mine might be sleeping on the couch still too because we're going through it. We have been going through it, and you know, but all due respect, I got to be honest with you. I mean, truly, yeah, he doesn't know how to love.
Yeah,
When
the heart
it
chakra.
comes down to he doesn't know how to love.
Mhm.
He has never had it in this life.
Yeah. And
So,
that's our role. I feel
and
very
I am
strongly
pure
that's
love.
our role, is to be that unconditional pure love,
I
to
came
bring
in as
that.
pure love.
and that's the experience that I had with my husband like a week and a half
Yeah.
ago, was that I was seeing him raw and real,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
like just I was disgusted, just
Mhm.
disgusted. And my realization was that he is what he is, and the reason that he is what he is because I am what I am, and my job is not to judge him. It's
Yeah.
not to condemn
Not to
him.
try
My
to change
job is
him.
to love
Yeah.
him completely, and to bring that love and that unconditional healing and forgiveness,
Yeah.
regardless of whatever it is that I see in him that I don't
Because
agree
they
about.
don't think they're capable of being loved because they don't have an ability to love themselves. They don't see any reason to love themselves. And I know, especially mine, has, I mean, I don't know if he hates himself. I can't say that he does because he has a dignity about him. He is a Sagittarius, so he does have, you know, he is very Sagittarius. So it's like, but he's also a Libra moon and a Pisces rising, and I am a Pisces rising. So, and then on top of that, our zodiacs like are crazy aligned. Our houses are aligned.
I have to
And then
look
when
at
you go,
mine because I know mine, but I don't know his.
oh my
I
God,
know
our human
just his.
design is aligned. Like it's
Well, you know
fucking
what's crazy?
crazy.
I did the Richard Rudd, Gene Keys.
Hmm.
That I put
Yes,
our names in the birth charts, and it's crazy
yes.
because his vice or whatever is addiction, and mine is codependency. And I'm like, oh my God, like duh, like hello, of course, like hello, that's what it is. Is
I pulled up mine and my husband literally is 1% feminine. I was like, yep, that's fucking him. 1% fucking feminine. I am literally the feminine in our relationship. It's
Yeah,
100% fact. And also life paths too. Look into life paths. So we've looked into zodiac, look into the houses, look into human design in your relationship. Also look into what I just say? What was the last thing?
life path.
Oh yeah, your life path because your life path,
I think I've
if
done a life path
oh my
with him
God,
too, and
I'm a life path 9.
I think our life paths are like
Hmm.
50% aligned. I think we have like
Well,
50%, but it's a struggle. Like it's a
oh no,
struggle. And
mine
I think
straight
that has
says
to,
we're gonna have trouble straight
yeah,
up. It's
I think that he and I have the reason
we
we have
don't
so much
mix.
struggle is because because every
Are you
incarnation we
coming in?
go apart and then come back together. So every
Mm-hmm.
time it's like we're changing a little bit and then coming back together, changing. And I believe that we did that. We decided on that so
Yeah,
that it always stayed fresh. That we always, because it's like the dark and the light. When you
yeah,
go without something, you remember how much you're
yeah,
grateful for it. Um,
exactly.
when you do come back together. And I think that was our design. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's worked out so well,
what I just
but
say, that reminds me, I just shared this too. And it was also another meme. So I've seen this twice recently. One that I wrote a meme, and then another one that was from somewhere else, and it basically said, if I don't lose it, it basically said that I might have to just go get it. Yeah, I might.